going to start off with a slightly different view of the RC2014 this evening, as I attempt to switch this from running the 56k Microsoft Basic over to running CPM. Again, I've got my basic RC2014 here with 5 modules installed. I've got this elusive 6 module here, the compact flash storage with its accompanying compact flash card, which will go in here as soon as I've taken the foam insert out. First I need to adjust some of the jumpers on two of the boards. It looks like a 64k RAM module and the pageable ROM module. Before I do that, I think I'm going to rearrange my boards to make it a bit easier to access the ones that I'm likely to change more often than not. At the moment I've got Z80 ROM, I think that's ROM, RAM, serial and clock. What I'll probably change it to is Z80 clock, serial, and then have the 2 memory boards at the back, just a bit easier to pull out rather than trying to get them out in the middle all the time. So let's do that now. That's the Z80 board, that's in the right place. I want to move the clock module, which is this one, next. So let's just remove all the ones out first. There's clock, serial. Yeah, there is a bit of flex in this board, especially if you've got quite new headers. These aren't really worn in yet, they're not loose, so they're quite tight fitting. No chance of RAM pack wobble. Oh yeah, it's worth mentioning, make sure it's unplugged and switched off before we start doing anything like this. I don't want you damage anything. So we've got the Z80 in the right place. The clock module, it's unlikely I'm going to change that much. The 2 jumpers at the moment are set for clock at the fastest rate. I'm probably not likely to want to adjust that. So that can go in as is. That's all set up for CPM anyway. So let's connect that up. Make sure I get it lined up right. I think that's right. Should be a spare hole at the end of the header. It's going in. That's correct. So we've got the clock in and now the serial module, which is this fella here. Again, it's highly unlikely I'm going to jumper this. I've got the FTDI board stuck out of the back of it there as well. So this can go in as is as well. So get that in next, line it up. I'm getting a bit more confident plugging these in now. It's a bit like when you plug any peripheral into a computer for a first time, you're always a bit, ooh, is that going in right? There we go. Just a nice tight fit. There we go. So those are the 3 standard boards which I'm unlikely to touch on a regular basis. The next 2 is pretty much yeah. I'll probably be flicking between them on a fairly regular basis. In fact, will I? Chances are I'll probably leave it stuck in CPM, won't I? Yeah. So I think it might be a good idea before I do anything for me to actually do the jumpers before I pop them back in. That'll save me a job, won't it? So let's do that first. Right, so first step is the ROM module, this fella here. I'm going to put an image over there, pointing in the right direction, big hand. So there'll be an image appearing there, which will be what I want the connections to be. Yeah, I think that's correct. So we've got 2 lower, 3 upper. It's just this side I need to correct, isn't it? So it's 3 blank, 2 lower, 1 upper. So let's do that now. Oh. You will come out. There we go. Everything's so nice and fresh on this board. All the jumpers are nice and tight and connections are nice and tight. Right, so we should have that set up correctly now. Yeah, let's have a look. So here we've got 2 in the bottom position, 3 on the upper position, and on this side we've got 3 unpopulated, 2 at the lower position and 1 in the upper position. So that's the ROM module done. Let's pop that one in next then. Get it in the right way first. There we go. RAM, isn't it, next? So there's the RAM module. I've got top one is in the rightmost position and the lower 3 are in the leftmost position. So I need all 4 jumpers to the right hand setting. So the top 3 jumpers set the start address to 0 and the bottom jumper sets the lower 32K to be paged in or out from the pageable ROM board. Right, let's get that done then. Oh, I should probably use my fingernails for this. Oh, nearly lost a jumper there. There. So let's get these in. 1. 2. 3. So it should end up looking like that, which is what the diagram says. So let's get this one plugged in now then. There. Right. So that's the... That feels a bit loose. That's not in right, is it? Let's try that again. I'm sure that was in right. Maybe out by 1. That's better. Yeah, it was definitely out by 1 there. Excellent. So that's the basic board set up now. So next it's to get this CPM board configured. Well, there's very little to do on there other than shove the compact flash in. So let's get rid of the protective foam rubber there on the pins, and it looks like this, I assume, goes in like so. There we go. Oops, get it the other way around. Right, that's that. That's the compact flash done. So let's get this board in. This is a standard bus, so it's a single row of header pins rather than dual header. I will put that here. Oh, there we go. I've not tested this board yet, so it could be interesting. Right. Let's just double check everything. Right. Yep. That's all looking good. That's all looking good. Yeah, everything looks connected in there. Not made any mistakes. So let's get this powered up and see what happens. And here we have our shuffled RC2014. So from left to right, we've got the CPU module, clock module, serial I/O module, ROM, RAM, and the new compact flash module with compact flash card installed in its slot. All that remains now, I guess, is to pair it up and see whether this new configuration works. So first I will launch PuTTY. There we go. And I will switch it on. Oh, that's interesting. I've not had to reset it, it's reset itself. I wonder if that's a coincidence. Let's try it again. Change the screen here, make sure it's reset. Ah, the reset circuit's working now. How strange. So before, I think I noted this in a previous video, this reset button didn't work. And the automatic reset on power on didn't work either. Whereas now, they both seem to work. I've no idea why that's happening. Maybe it's because the clock and reset board is closer to the CPU. I don't know. Maybe there's a break somewhere in the reset line on the back plane. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's one less thing to fix. Right. So we've got a working reset circuit now. Brilliant. So now let's find out whether or not this CPM works. Space to activate console, so let's just get a focus on that window. Press space. This is looking promising, at least the boot ROM's working. So we've got the right ROM paged in. Question mark for options. Reset, BC or BW. Now I've looked at the manual already and I know that these particular options don't work with the RC2014 configuration. So it looks like our only option at this point is X to boot CPM. I don't know about reset. So let's try that. Let's boot CPM. Boot CPM, yes. Brilliant. That's all seems to be working. So we're in drive A. I don't know an awful lot about CPM, but I'm sure I can fumble my way around. So let's do a DIR. Let's try that again. So you can see there's an activity light here just above my finger. There's a little bit of activity there, so that's working fine. Right, now then, I know that this is partitioned into several drives. So C should have the some CPM utilities on there. There we go. I'm going to have to investigate those at some point in the future. Cool. Right, so next we need to start loading some stuff on here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is find a file, which I've already done. I've decided to upload a chess program to the RC2014. And there's a utility provided by Spencer on the RC2014 website. I'll include the link in the description, but I've got it loaded up on Chrome here. And from here, you can choose the file which you've downloaded. It's got to be a CPM 80 file for Z80. I think it's CPM 80. So let's choose the chess program in question. Sargon, that's it. So we'll put that on his website. Leave the CPM user at 0. Not quite sure what that is. We're not going to download the file. We're going to do something. We're going to paste it into PuTTY. Leave that as default ticked, and we're going to convert the file. I think this converts it into a hex file. So if we scroll down, it's converted the chess program into this encoded file. Right, so what we're going to do now is on the RC2014 through PuTTY, we're going to upload this file. So let's launch PuTTY so you can see what's going on. There we go. Right. First I've got to choose which drive it's going to go onto. So let's stick it on drive B. Remember, C's got the CPM utilities in, and A's got download, so I'll leave those two. But we've got B and D onwards. So let's select drive B. That's empty, no file. Right, so what I'm going to do now is go across to here. It selects everything. Now you can see it's calling download on the A drive, which I pointed out earlier in the video. We have a couple of parameters. The first one's the file name, which is sargon.com, and then the second and third, I don't know what that is, certainly relate to the file itself. Maybe that's the address and that's the data, I don't know. Start at 0. Here are the bytes to write in hex. Anyway, so I'm going to cut that, Control C that, go across to PuTTY, and I'm going to paste. Let's right click on PuTTY to paste for some reason, not Control V. And you can see it's called A:\download, or ran A:\download. And it's copied the bytes across, pasted the bytes into PuTTY. So now if I do a dir, Sargon's in there. And now I can launch that like that. I don't need to put the com in. And there we go. Do I want the error bell? No. That looks like it's running to me. New game is G. Color, white, level of play 1. Display board every move, yeah, why not? Okay, so we've got a basic chess game. Graphics are non-existent, but clearly it's running the program. So that's how you transfer programs from the internet onto your RC2014. I made the rookie mistake of thinking you'd just simply plug the compact flash card into a compact flash card reader and copy it via File Manager in Windows. But with these things, it's not always that simple. Apparently, there is a way you can do it in Linux using a utility, which I might touch in a later video. But for the moment, that suits me fine. So, in the meantime, I've been busy. I've copied some games onto the compact flash drive and my favourite, BBC Basic. So BBC Basic, I think I've put on the D drive. So let's launch PuTTY. There we go. So select the D drive, D:. Very similar to DOS or Windows, this, which is not entirely surprising, seeing as CPM is the granddaddy of all of those operating systems. I think CPM's 1974, isn't it? And DOS is early 80s, 80, 81. So there's only, what, 6 or 7 years separating DOS and CPM, so there are bound to be similarities. Anyway, I now have BBC Basic on here. So do dir. I've just copied the fundamentals over at the moment, the executable and one program animal.dat, which is one of the demo programs supplied by Richard Russell. Yeah, so anyway, to launch BBC Basic, type in its file name, and there we go. Very familiar to those of you that have watched me converting BBC Basic to the next, and indeed running it on my BSX, my homebrew Z80 computer. This is the CP/M version. It's basically the same version. It's the Z80 version of BBC Basic, but with all of the CP/M add-ons. So I think if I do *, like you would on the BBC, it will list all of the files there, animal.bbc. It seems to be filtering them, so it's missing out DAT files and COM files. It's only listing BBC Basic files, which is fair enough. So I should be able to load animal, and there we go. A BBC Basic program running on an RC2014 in an operating system from 1974. Brilliant. What an age we live in. So let's run this, check it works. Guess the animal. Am I thinking of an animal? Yes, I am. Does it fly? Yes. Is it an insect? Yes. Does it have black stripes? Don't think so. Does it bite? I don't think so. Is it a bee? No. It is a dragonfly. Please tell me a question that would distinguish a dragonfly from a bee. Does it make honey? For a dragonfly, the answer would be no. And there we go. So I can click on that, and it's saved well, it's not saved dragonfly yet. It's given me the option to save dragonfly. So let's save that to a disk. Yep. Bit of disk activity there. And if I run it again, let's just check whether it's still got it in its memory. Yep. In fact, if I do a reset so the memory is completely clear and go through the whole process again, let's see if it has saved that data to disk. There we go, there's Dragonfly. There it is at the bottom. Excellent. So it's BBC Basic, it's got file I/O, and I know that the Z80 version also has port support, so I can do print. I think it's get. Hang on, try that again. That's read 104 from port 0, Z80 port 0. So I can get and I can write to and read from ports. So I've got all of the tools now. I can save and load programs, and because it's BBC Basic with Z80, it's also got a Z80 assembler. I've got all of the tools now in order to use this as a multi-purpose development board. I've got easily accessible headers, and plenty of them, which I can either plug boards in or simply stick jumper wires in from a breadboard. And I've got a program language. Excellent. Yep. So that's BBC Basic. So what else have I been uploading onto my RC2014? Right, so I have been putting some games on in addition to chess. So let's just quit BBC Basic. I think it's star by. Put the games on G. That moves chess to G as well, actually, because it makes more sense having all of the games on G. I've got Zork, which is a fabulous adventure game, which I've heard plenty about but never played. So let's launch Zork 1. There we go, The Great Underground Empire, Infocom, 1981. You were standing in an open field west of a White House. There is a mailbox here. Makes sense to open it, I suppose. There we go. That's a bit meta, isn't it? Can I get the leaflet? Excellent, look at that. So text adventures was obviously all of the rage with text-based computers. I mean, this could have run on a CPM machine with a teletype. Doesn't necessarily need to run on a terminal emulator. It could actually run on a proper terminal. I don't know where I'm going here. Maybe if I go south, no, east, west, west, north, north. Okay, I think this is one of these where you really need to draw a map, otherwise you can quickly get lost. But yep, we've got a text adventure on there. I've got chess, which we saw a little bit of earlier. I've got BBC Basic. There are plenty more utilities you can load, and like WordStar and games, of course. You're not going to get arcade games because it's all terminal based and text based. Yeah, but you know, a lot of this is open source or freeware now, and I'm pretty sure if we look hard enough, we'll probably find there are still people developing stuff for CPM, as indeed they're developing computers using Z80. So yeah, there we have it. That's all working rather nicely as far as I'm concerned. I've got the compact flash card working. That worked first time. I've fixed the bug with the reset. That was just seemed to be a case of placing the clock module with the reset circuit closer to the CPU. Now, that might just be coincidence that I fixed it that way. That's all of the assembly done. So now it's going to be experimenting with the RC2014. I hope you've enjoyed the video. As ever, if you like what I'm doing, then please subscribe to my channel. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.